My energy project was to compare the positive and negative consequences of bike and car commuting and deciding which is better. My essential question was, how can I make small changes in my everyday life to lessen the consumption of energy and help the environment? My research question was divided into three parts. By commuting via bike 4 days out of 5 during a 6 week duration to UAS during summer classes instead of driving, A, do I save time and money, and if so, how much? B, how much gas do I conserve and what does that equate to? C, how many calories do I burn and how does that compare with my regular workout at the gym? The commute from my house to UAS was 7.5 miles, 15 miles round trip. In addition to the gym was 2.5 miles, so I added a 5 mile round trip. So to and from school and the gym was 20 miles a day. I gave myself 4 days out of 5 instead of 5 out of 5 because I let myself drive to school one day out of the week in case I needed to bring something or in case I had a time crunch or had a presentation and needed to be dressed nicely. So my calculations include one driving day to UAS and back, but not to the gym or gym fees. Comparing time, the bike took me 100 minutes and driving to UAS and the gym, including about an hour and a half workout session, was 161 minutes. So that was a comparison in the day. It was about an hour longer to drive and work out versus combining my commute and workout by biking. In 6 weeks, I gained 35 hours by combining my workout and commute, and I eliminated 22.4 hours of driving time and increased my time outside since I was biking by 40 hours. If I did it for an entire year, again, 4 out of 5 days a week, I would gain 300 hours, which is 12.5 days. So that's pretty amazing. Cost comparisons. I calculated the cost per day of my car, which included gas, insurance, service fees. I also calculated my gym fees per day, and then the only cost that my bike had was the helmet. It was initial $25. I borrowed the bike from a friend, so that didn't cost me anything. Comparing the cost for one day biking versus car and gym was $25 initially for the helmet versus approximately I think $8 or $9 a day for the car and the gym. You can't really do the straight 1 day comparison because I was comparing 4 days out of 5. So I was driving 1 day out of the week. So that is in my comparison in the 6 weeks. So that's calculation for biking 4 days a week and driving 1 day a week versus driving 5 days a week, including gym time and driving to the gym. So in 6 weeks, it cost me again $25 for the helmet to bike plus $5 once a week to drive to the cost of my car to drive to UAS. So in 6 weeks, I saved $280 by biking to school 4 days a week, which I thought was pretty awesome. If I continued to do that for an entire year, I would save about $4,300. So that's kind of a huge motivating factor for continuing to do it, not to mention the fact that I'm saving time, and we'll find out later if I am actually getting a better workout or not. So far, we've got 2 out of 2 pluses for biking versus going to the car, driving the car. Gas comparisons. Obviously, my bike didn't consume any gas, but I did drive to school, so I drove 15 miles once a week times 6 weeks. So the average gas for 1 day was, let's see, it was, or for 1 week was 0.7, 0.7 gallons for 5 days versus zero point 0.1 gallons for one day. So then when you compare that in the 6 weeks, I conserved 13.8 gallons of gas by biking those 4 days a week, which is over half my tank. And if I continued to do that for an entire year, I would have saved approximately 120 gallons of gas, which is pretty awesome when you think of the environmental impacts, negative impacts of gas and CO2 and greenhouse effect and those things. The last comparison that I did was comparing calories. I wanted to see if biking was actually burning more calories versus going to my regular gym workout. So I biked for 100 minutes, which equated to 745 calories each day, versus the gym. I do probably 30 to 40 minutes of cardio, some sit-ups, and I lift weights, so I did the math for that, and that was about an average of 420 calories per day. So when I did it, I compared biking 4 days a week and not going to the gym that fifth day versus going to the gym 5 days a week. So in 6 weeks, I burned an extra 5,280 calories by, again, working out 4 days rather than five, by biking, by doing my commute and my workout at the same time. And then if you continue to do that in a year, you would burn 42,240 extra calories. So I was burning more calories by biking, which makes sense since I'm doing straight cardio. I did not compare the difference between doing cardio versus weightlifting and those benefits. That would take a lot more research and details, though that would be an interesting comparison to do also for future research. So the environmental impacts, if 10 people commuted by bike instead of car for an average commute of 15 miles round trip, 4 days a week, gas would decrease by 7 gallons per day, 28 gallons per week, 112 gallons per month, and 1,344 gallons per year. So that's really awesome because I did some research, and for every gallon of gas we consume, we create 20 pounds of CO2. So by decreasing the gas we're using, we're decreasing the CO2 pollution that goes into the environment, which helps, as this map shows, the ozone depletion. So if we conserve gas, then we will be helping to not have the ozone deplete as quickly. And then something else that I was told recently was that the CO2 pollution also contributes to an increasing acidity level in the ocean, which obviously has a negative impact for the habitats and creatures living in it. So by conserving gas, we are also helping the ocean. And in Alaska, that's really important since we have so many oceans, and a lot of our economies are based on those oceans. So keeping them healthy is very important. The conclusion of my study: in 6 weeks, I saved $280. I conserved almost 14 gallons of gas. In doing so, I prevented 276 pounds of CO2 from being polluted into the environment, thus helping the ozone layer and the oceans. I burned 5,280 more calories, which contributed to my overall weight loss of 8 pounds, which had to do with burning more calories and other factors as well. I gained 21 hours of free time, which meant I was able to sleep and study more. I spent an extra 40 hours outside, which was phenomenal because during the MAT program in the summer, and it's beautiful outside, you have all this stuff to do, and so it was 40 hours of mandatory being outside, which was awesome. And I eliminated 22.4 hours of car time. I also saw some bonus benefits that I didn't measure, but I noticed, and I think were correlated. So by increasing my time outside, I increased my intake of vitamin D. I had more energy and made healthier choices. By starting my day with a workout, I then ate healthier. I, slept better. I also, rather than during breaks going to get coffee or sugary snacks, I ran around outside or took a walk or did some push ups and got more energy that way, which I think was the other major contributing factor in the fact that I lost 8 pounds during those 6 weeks. I biked in my off time when I typically wouldn't. I ran to school twice during my 6 weeks of summer session, which I don't think I would have, but I was comfortable with the route and with the distance. So that was awesome. I was also training for a half marathon, so it was really awesome that I was biking and being able to run to school. I was genuinely happy to be outside, rain or shine. There were some really rainy, wet days that I just packed on all of my rain gear and had my waterproof backpack, and I biked to school the 15 miles. So seeing the ocean and the mountains and going by the ferry terminals and the all of that kind of scenery, and being outside with the fresh air, I think totally increased my quality of life. So there were a lot of added benefits that if I did the study again, I would maybe try to figure out, for future study, if how to integrate that into my research or find some ways to measure that. In conclusion, biking is better. It's better for me, it's better for you, and it's better for the environment. I think one of the really interesting things about the study is that it was an energy study, so I was doing it in with the idea of saving the planet, but in the long run, I think I saw a lot more personal benefits to myself. Burning more calories, increasing my quality of life, saving time, saving money, that were all totally personal, along with, in addition to, you know, conserving gas and saving the ozone layer, the oceans, and the planet. So, if you ever get the chance to commute by foot or bike, you should totally do it because it's awesome. Thank you.